Uh-oh.
Hold on. Technical issue. Ah, there we go. Had to turn the camera back on. I swap batteries between streams because the streams usually go for almost 4 hours together combined, and the batteries are only good for about 3. All right, so hi everyone, welcome to my what is it, Tuesday live stream where we edit photos, where you can submit your images and I edit them here live online. And also I put my image out there for you guys to edit, and it's always fun to see what you guys do with my picture. I think Randy said it best. It's kind of like you guys get homework from me every time I do a photo editing live stream, right? For you guys to edit one of mine. And hopefully you like what I do with your images. I try to use Olympus Workspace, which is, you know, for free for Olympus cameras, and then I use Lightroom for everything else. All right, I gotta get... Ellie, what? You want to go out? Hold on. I'm sorry. She's being a pain today. Go to bed. Go to bed. I don't know why. She's got a bug up her butt today about something. Anyway, wow, lots of people here. Awesome. Let me go ahead and scroll down. Hi to Morgan, Elaine, Dave, Walter. Awesome. Lauren is here. Hey, good morning. Okay, Scott's back. And let me, what is... Not that that matters, but that was bugging me. There's this thing here is in the corner. It's my screwdriver, what I use to unscrew my lens. Image writer's here. Hey, good to see you back. All right, let's go ahead and get right to it. The images are downloaded, and Ellie. All right, she's going out. I can't get down. Let's go. She's gonna, like I said, when she jumps on me all the time, it flares up my allergies even more. Yeah, Ellie's banned. All right, let me get to the right screen here. Let's start with one here from DeMorcan. This looks familiar for some reason. I feel like I've seen this guy before, something similar. But I need to rotate it like this. And let me put my timer on. Just a quick EXIF EM10 Mark II with a Panasonic 14-42 kit. 18 millimeters f5. Yep, all looks good. Negative third exposure comp. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go blind, I know. All right, so let me go down and just bring up the shadows with the gradation first. And like I said, gradation is good for bringing up shadows without blowing the highlights. And then if I can recover some of the clouds, the best way to do it in Workspace is to bring the exposure down, then push the shadows back up. So we'll do that here. And just keep this down here. And then a little bit of contrast this way. And I think that looks pretty good. Let's add some vignette. Because I think compositionally, I don't need to crop anymore. And then I think as an art filter, just a dramatic tone will do it. Actually, that's not great. But it's not terrible. I'll stick with it. I'm just going to add some dehaze. Let me reset this. Let me redo the tone curve. I should always set the art filter before I mess with the tone curve, because the art filters apply their own tone curves. Yeah, I think that looks good. And let's see if we can get a little more detail in there with just a regular sharpening. Maybe we'll add more in here. We can go pretty big, 2 pixels and just a 10 on the threshold. Yeah, that's helping. I'm seeing a little more granularity right in here for the wood textures. And only other thing I'll do is just pull back the saturation a little bit and then give it a little bit more exposure comp and I'm done. Maybe just do -2/3 EV. All right, we're all done. I think. Maybe I don't need any exposure. Yeah, I need the exposure comp. Right there at 2/3. A little more push. Right there. All right, let's do a before and after. So I think that looks pretty good. Pretty simple edit. I mean, the art filter did most of the work though, right? Okay. Let's go to the next one here. We have, oh, blurry image. This must be Elaine. Yeah, this is Elaine's. And then you got one. That's weird. Did you add this in? Let's see. We have probably no exit data. Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to say, let's see if I can bring up some of the shadows and see what's in there. Yeah, you added the star. Yeah, it looks a little bit kind of added in. Let's see if there's anything worth saving down here. Not really. Nothing in the shadows. And then the sky's already blown out. I doubt I can recover any of that. Yeah, that's all gone. Because this is a JPEG image, so I'm going to leave the gradation right there. Maybe do that. Let's crop in to a square and just get rid of this sidewalk or whatever it is. Get rid of all that vignetting. Do a slight tilt. And wow, now you can see how blurry this picture really is. So let's see if we can. What can we do with a blurry image, I wonder? I doubt this is going to be a train wreck if I do that. Yeah. Let's go partial color. Nah, I don't think there's much else I can do here. Yeah, it's not doing much, but that's... Put a little vignette back in. I'm going to look at this one more time. just to balance it a little bit. And I mean, that's all I can do, Elaine. You like blurry pictures? Not a fan of this one, Elaine. Normally you send these really cool images, but this one is a little bit ahead of my time, I guess is the best way to put it. All right, but thanks for sending that in. Either way, it's always fun to see what you're up to, or what kind of work you have. Just a quick before and after. I don't know, I wouldn't call that an improvement at all, really, but I just tried to simplify the scene a little bit because this light over here is a little bit distracting, so you just cut that out and go with this on the right side. And I think compositionally that makes it a little better. All right. Wow. Drago's nice macro shot. This looks like a 60mm macro lens. Yeah. So EM1 Mark II with a 60mm f5.6 1/2000 and turned image stabilization off. That's interesting, but you had a fast enough shutter speed. It wouldn't be on anyway. And no flash. Okay, yeah, it looks like a natural light shot. So let's see what we can do here. It's already cropped in really tight. Just a slight misfocus. It's not like right on the eye here. It's more like on this, right in here. So I'm just going to do a pop art just to bring the colors out, and then we'll just back it off here. Let's add some sharpness and a little vignette. Let's warm it up slightly to 5500. Whoops, 5500. And God, that pop art's a little bit too strong on this, so I'm going to do it manually. I'm going to go this way. And pull in a vivid. And then if I adjust the tone curve slightly, I should be able to get a little more color pulled out. Like that. Yeah. There we go. I can go a little stronger on the vignette. Let me rotate it. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to pull the greens back a little bit on the luminance. Oh. Jacknack, how are you? And a little bit on the reds, make them a little bit brighter. Maybe a little more saturation too. I like this red pat, not that much. Right about there would be good. And I'm gonna call it there. It's already a really good shot, cropped in well. Nothing much left to do, but I mean, the color difference you're seeing is mostly because of the white balance I did. So you have to kind of make that call in the white balance, because I did saturate the reds a little more, but that's not what's really causing this, I think. But I kind of like the look of, because I bet in better light this moth would be a little bit more reddish brown kind of looking. And yeah, fine details. Didn't have to do much sharpening at all, just whatever's in camera there in the basic settings. I could probably do a little bit more with the unchopped mask, but not necessary. It looks good just like that. All right, let's go to the next one. And this is from Gilbert. I don't know if Gilbert's here or not, but he submitted these late in the last live stream and wanted some advice on working with these in Lightroom. So I'm gonna just put a star next to these two. He sent in two, and I'll talk about this more when we get to Lightroom. And this one here from Dawid. This is, oh, he used the cell phone. So whatever the settings are, it's kind of irrelevant. But f2 at ISO 100 basically. And whatever lens was it. Now this image, I see what you're going for because there's a lot of repeating patterns and there's some geometry. But there's a little bit too much going on here for me. So what I have to think about compositionally how to find a pattern or subject in an image like this. So let me just start with a simple crop and get that out. No. Yeah, that is a lot of wires, isn't it? It's a shocking amount. I don't know. I'm gonna go with that. Let's add some shadow detail. Let's go black and white. And maybe a green filter. See if I can bring that tree up a little, separate it a little bit more from the wires. It didn't help much, but now I'm going to crank up this to haze, use some clarity. Hopefully the clouds will come back in a little bit. And no, this is not a bird. This thing here is just more leaves, if that's what you're looking at. I don't see any birds anywhere else. And let me just try to silhouette the wires, but not the tree and the pole. There's still just enough tonal separation there. And then we'll do not that much. We'll add a little sharpening and some vignette. And then I think I saw some suggestions from you guys here. What about a 4:3 crop, 4:3 flip to portrait and go right instead of left? And just get the wires over here? I don't know. Now, without seeing the telephone pole, these wires, I mean, you know they're coming from a telephone pole, but I feel like it's just too much missing information there. So we'll go back to my original crop. But then it says there's no need for the pole. I think there is. I think this is a little better than just looking at the wires by themselves. there just isn't enough pattern in the wires for me. So I'm gonna go with this. All right, so let's do a before and after. And yeah, I blew out all the clouds. I didn't really save those. I just wanted to focus on the wires and get more of a contrast. And then seeing the pole, I think, helps tell the story a little bit more. Because when you look at just the wires by themselves, you may not know necessarily, are they all coming from one telephone pole? Is there something else going on? Might be the question. But when you have the pole in there, now you know all these wires are coming off of one pole, which I think makes it a little more dramatic. But that's a subjective choice. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. This is from Dave Nelson, last minute entry. Canon EOS 20D, 35mm f5, 1/400th, ISO 800. Man, this is an old camera. I think. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with Canon. I don't know, Dave. Let me see. I'm gonna go with a square crop. Right here. It's a little tight, but we'll do that. Then we need to do some straightening. So there's that. We need to deskew it, actually. I don't think I have. Well, there it is. There's some keystoning corrections here. It's gonna look weird, but I'm gonna do a little bit of keystoning. Center this a little bit better. And then the question is black and white or color. So we'll do this one. Or this one. Yeah, let's go with, I'm gonna stick to color. Let's bring in some gradation so we can see a little more detail. And I'm gonna have to do a little more work on the tone curve. You know, there's some interesting, I think black and white might work if I do a split tone. So let me do it that way. So let me split tone it on the red channel. Make the highlights a little redder and the shadows a little more cyan. And then add some vignette and we'll call it. Just needs a slight more tilt. Excuse me. All right. Let's do a before and after. Excuse me, one second. I don't know why I got this tickle in my throat all of a sudden. It's Ellie. It's Ellie's fault. Okay, well, it's pretty obvious, right? Keystoning, black and white, split tone, and some gradation. The only other thing I would do here is just add a ton of sharpness to make it a little more gritty. And I think that's it right there. Okay, let's move to the next one. It's the base of a mailbox. Oh, okay. Ellie's not cold. She's just in the living room. Okay, so here we have some gravestones and a little path in between going out to these trees. Oh, man, I hate hills. I don't like hills at all. EM5 Mark III, 12 to 45, 18 millimeter f8. Yeah, all looks good. Spot meter probably right here on the grass, I would assume. Because this is about mid-tone. And no exposure comp. So let's sharpen it. Let's see if there's any hope of saving these highlights. So I'm going to bring this down. Yeah, the highlights, see, I pulled the exposure all the way down, so workspace is just not able to recover these highlights. So I'm not going to bother trying. So I always check for that first. If I want to save highlights, I just pull the exposure down. Lightroom is much better at it, but let's just go a little bit warmer. It may not matter. I'm thinking black and white already. So I'm going to do monotone, soft focus. Yeah, I'm going to straighten the hill, right? Soft focus, and let's add a red filter to bring the grass down a little bit. Okay, and I think just a cyan, and let's go to the RGB. The earth is flat. I don't know. I don't need to do much here, I think. Maybe just some vignette. What if we go in the other direction? Because like I said, the cloud's already gone, so... Let me come back to this red, because I pulled some cyans in the shadow. Maybe some blues in the skies. Way up here, just a tiny bit. Like that. Yeah. And yeah, I use this and Lightroom, Jose. I use this for most of my personal stuff, workspace. All right, I think that's all I need to do here. Compositionally, I don't want to crop anything out, I don't think. I don't think anything else would work. I mean, the only other thing might be a vertical, where this tombstone on the left is facing into the scene, like this. So that may work right there. But all right, let's call it there. So there's the before and after. I like the vertical crop actually on the right, because the stones are a little bit too close to the edges in the first one, in the original. So I feel like you need to pick a stone and go with it. So I would have gave a little more room on the left side for this stone if I could, but I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly what the scene was like, but it seems like you could have moved a little bit over to the left. And then, if at all possible, I would get out of the hills. You know, maybe just a little tighter crop like this. Hold on, let me, just a little bit tighter. And voila. So that's my final version. Soft focus, white vignette, a little bit of split toning with red and cyan. Okay. Let's go to the next one. We have here Lauren. And he's, oh, this is a surfing image. This poor guy. You know, it's like this water is probably only like 6 inches deep right here. So if he falls when the wave is not at the right place, that's going to hurt. But let's see what we use today. The Nikon D3500 with the 50mm f5.61 1000. Yep, all good stuff. And I'm going to go vertical on this. So this is, let's do a 4x3 and go this way. And I'm just gonna see what the tones look like. Not black and white, but in color. Nah. These are all pretty interesting, but it's a little bit too crispy. I know Lauren doesn't like smooth waterfalls and things. And not that that you're going for that in this, but I do want to get a little bit more color and more warmth. So I'm just going to crank it up there just a little bit. Pull in some vignette. Let's crush. Let me crush the shadows on this, see if I can get it more golden hour looking. Whoops. Nope, that's not going to work. So we'll just do a little bit extra contrast then. I need to pull a little bit of blue off the shadows. This way. And then let's make the greens a little bit more cyan. Oh, it's green magenta. I don't think that's helping. Let me go to the red channel and see. This bites. All right, I'm gonna leave the colors alone from here. I think we're done. Yeah, Jose, if you have an Olympus camera, it's free. You just need your camera serial number and you can download it. Darktable is another great free software. I haven't quite learned how to use that quite yet, but that's another one a lot of people use. All right. So for Lauren's image, I think a vertical crop works better. So that way we're closer in and can kind of really see the details, like his little fingers and the rope around the surfing thing, the surfboard. And then it's a little bit too saturated on the blues, so maybe back that off a little bit, but you know, slight vignette and I think we're good. So there we go. Let me just check the gradation real quick. Maybe I can bring up a little bit this way. Yeah, it's a JPEG, so it doesn't make quite as an impact. But all right, let's go to the next one. And this is from Image Writer, and we used a, oh, you're welcome, Lauren. EM10 Mark II, 40 to 150, the kit lens at 150 millimeter f5.61 1000, so all good settings. Probably could have went to like f8 on this lens. It's just a hair sharper at f8 at the long end. And what's that, one stop? So you'd have been at 1/500th of a second. You'd have been all right. So that's the only advice I would give there. Yeah, Star Wars machine. Those A walkers, I think they call it, or AT walkers. Yeah, from Star Wars. So again, I think a vertical here makes sense because I like what these fans are, or whatever they are. I think those are fans. We'll see when we punch in. And we'll go up here. Oh no, those aren't fans. It's just a stairway to heaven. I don't know. Nothing here. Nothing up here. Just a stairway. That might be too tall. Let's see if we can come. Well, I like the. Let's do a square crop. And just come in. I don't know if that's going to be quite the same. No, I like the vertical. All right, we'll go with this. I'll just come in a little tighter on the right. And a little straightening. Whoops, I didn't put my timer. And maybe a dramatic tone. Let's see. That didn't work. I like what it did to the dam down here, but then, so I'm going to do it manually. But I'm feeling another monochrome because there's just no color in here. Let me just crank that up. Turn off the noise filter. Let me see where the colors are. Yeah, there's not much color in this, so definitely a black and white again. And we'll just split tone it for the colors. So we'll do monotone, a red filter, and a ton of dehaze, some clarity. I'm using a little more clarity because there's a lot of little specular, not speculars, but fine details that clarity tends to bring out a little better. And there's a UFO up here. See that? Oh, it's a bird. Very likely a bird, but could be a UFO, right? All right, let's add some contrast. Very tight. And it's Superman, yep. You're right. I could see that. Let's go with that. I wish I could bring out... I wish there was more colors. Let me try a green filter. I want to get a little more separation in here, but I'm not seeing it. Maybe some... Let me just crank clarity up. And then add some vignette. Let's tack on a little bit of sharpness this way. Again, we'll go with a 2 and a 10. And I'm done. All right. So there's the before and after. So the one on the right, I think, looks a lot more industrial, right? And just kind of gritty, whereas the one on the left is a little bit soft. So I felt like this kind of image really just had to be very gritty. And that's what I did, without worrying about highlights and shadows too much, but just trying to get as much detail in as I can. Because like on this picture on the right, you can see a lot of the wires now over down here in the bottom right, whereas over here you can just barely make them out. And then these towers here really stand out now against the sky. So I think that looks good. And if we punch in, you can see, yeah, there's a little bit of grain, but that's okay. I can deal with that. A little bit of sharpening artifacts. But I kind of like that look. All right, let's go with the next one. Oh, you're welcome. That was Image Writers, right? Yeah, that looks good. All right, here we have some apples from DVC. Used a GX8, looks like 45mm f8, and did a flash. So this is a product shot, basically, or food photography, where the product is apples, right? And we have good detail. Might have been some focus stacking, but we're at f8, so probably not. Yeah, so let's do a square crop. And thank you, Serge. Let's go with the square crop. And just come in a little bit of tilt. I wish this corner was not in the image. That's my only problem. So maybe, I don't think I can come in this tight without making it feel cramped, but maybe. A little more tilt. And I don't know about the colors here, but let me see. Nah, I'll do it manually. I'm going to add a ton of saturation. I mean, I'm working with a JPEG, so I'm going to be a little bit limited to how much separation I can make. But these two apples on the right are a little bit more green. So I don't know if I can crank up the green and the yellow and this green. Yeah, that's not separating too well, but let's pull the greens down in luminance. Yeah, that's just making them look ugly. My saturation also needs to be pulled back. Because now I'm getting all this banding up in here, which is what happens with JPEGs. All right, and I'm going to pull back a little bit on the color. And let's see, gosh, we have a lot of... I want the shadows to be kind of soft, but I want to make sure I get a fully white background. I don't know. Yeah, I finally work with Apple. You know, a raw image would give me a little softer gradation here in the shadows. But that's what I'm trying to do. I think I'll leave it right there. Let's add some sharpening and call it there. All right. So, yeah, you know, basically with a product shot, right, you want to simplify the scene as much as possible. So you have to be very careful of these corners like this. And this transition from this white box to the background is not working either. Not that you want a completely white, but what a lot of product photographers do is they'll use like a curve to kind of have that gradation from the front to the back a little bit smoother. It's very hard to describe verbally, but what you do is you put the apples here, and then you curve the background, and then you get a little smoother gradation. So you know, I just use a white piece of paper when I was showing people how to do it, and then so you would have the three apples. So you would have the three apples, 1, 2, 3 here, and then you would curve the paper like this, and that'll give you a little smoother gradation from front to back. And I think that's the only other thing I would do. And then maybe a little stronger lighting to create a little bit more shadow detail. But yeah, it looks good otherwise, I think. All right. I mean, I'm not a product photographer, expert, or anything, but those are just some very basic tips, right? Let's see. We have a bird here from Ugar Ye. And he used what? EM1 with a 40 to 150 kit at 150 at 5.6, ISO 800. Yep, all good settings. And yep, good sharpness. Man, you nailed the focus on that, didn't you? Yeah, we have the standard noise filter already. What if I add some sharpening this way? If it doesn't mess up this area too much, I think we'll be all right. And then let's try some gradation. I really need to bring the shadows in. And let's crop out all the unnecessary light. I don't even know if we really need too much of the bird in the frame. Maybe just this much. It's a little bit low. Let's put the bird closer to the top of the frame. Okay, now let's crank in some vignette. Let's just add some shadow detail now. Cheap shot. Right in there. And a little bit. All right, close enough. A little bit of dehaze maybe. And some clarity for the specular in the eye. Hopefully that doesn't jack up the highlights too much. Okay. I think that's it. All right. I'm going to pull the saturation back just a notch to reduce some of the color noise I'm seeing, but I think that's it. So, yeah, just a little bit more crop and have the bird looking into the frame, kind of. And we don't really need to see the whole bird because most of it's obscured by the branches and leaves anyway. And then just rule of thirds on the eyeball and a little bit of gradation, etc. And I think that's a little more usable image. Okay. I should be branching out. A bird in the bush rather than one in the hand. Yep. All right, kilo in. Rokinon fisheye. Okay, I appreciate that. You put that in the file name. See how Kilowon put Rokinon fisheye down here? So I know what it is. That's cool. Clever. Well, a lot of you guys are putting messages in the file names, actually. I have to pay attention a little bit more. So EM5 with a Rokinon fisheye. All right, so I like the fisheye effect on this, and if I were to try to correct for it, it would cut off this side, which is a little bit tight to begin with. And I think you did that because there's something in the way here. It might be your fingernail. That's kind of what it looks like. So I'm gonna have to brush that out. Let me do that first. I can probably do it. Oh, try it this way. Why is this not brushing? Oh, there it is. Close enough. Ah, that's a terrible job. Let me try this one more time. We'll start here. All right, close enough. And I'm going to try a dramatic tone. I think that'll really bring out the kind of the interesting architecture best. And then we'll add some gradation back in. And this was dramatic tone, yeah, regular color. See if we can saturate it a little more. And I need to bring a little bit more than the... Okay, and then let's vignette it. I'm trying to find a balance here. A little bit of clarity. I might have to turn the dramatic tone filter off and do it myself. Okay, let's go to the blue filter. I'm going to pull in a little bit of blue in the highlights, because the image is almost black and white now. It almost looks like a bleach bypass filter, doesn't it? All right, I'm going to leave it there. So there's the before and after, and again, I let the dramatic tone filter do most of the work and then just tweaked it from there for split toning and color. It's a little heavy on the left side in terms of the shadows, but really the focus is right here in the center, you know, with the reflection. So I would have done a vertical crop had this been a rectilinear lens. But because it's a fisheye, to get the full fisheye effect, you really have to keep it pretty much uncropped, right? And then brushing out his fingernail there, it looks like. So yeah, you always have to be conscious of that, right? Yeah, just a tad to the right. You know, it needed a little more room. I agree, Plato. Um, all right, we have one here from Ian. EM5, 12 to 50, 19 millimeter f4.5, 1/60th ISO. Yeah, good settings for a nice street shot here. Good detail. So this guy, let me see. I'm guessing I can't tell what these people are doing, but let's see. Oops, I need some more shadow detail. Definitely need a lot more color. The white balance is almost spot on. Using eye enhance, let me try high. A tiny bit of difference there. We'll just go a little bit warmer. The street shots usually are kind of warm with a little bit of tungsten. So I like it. I like to reflect that sometimes. Not a lot. I try to get the white balance look more normal, but and then we just need to straighten. Maybe right there. And then as far as a crop goes, well, these are flower sellers in the flower market. So I don't know if they're working together or if one is a customer. My feeling is they're working together. Let me get that out. I don't know if I really want that power box in there. I do like this lamp, but we'll get rid of that. And let's work with that right there. And add some sharpening. Because this smile is a little bit like a familiar smile versus the kind of smile where if it's like a customer, so the smile looks more genuine, like they know each other to me. So I think these two work here, is my opinion. So it still feels a bit off in terms of straightening. So let me straighten a little bit more right there. And all right. Peddlers. Yeah, it looks like the lady's not impressed. No, I think these two work there, is my guess. Because the lady, right, she doesn't have a purse, right? So most likely she works there. If she was a customer, she would have a purse, I would think. And then the way this guy is smiling, it's a very natural smile, like a familiar smile, not like a smile like he's trying to sell her something. So that's my guess. A little bit of the haze. I'm going to add some clarity, but just a touch. And then just a tad more in the shadows. Oops. come back. Some vignette. All right, out of time. So let's do before and after. This one needs a little bit of time to render. But some straightening. Oh, I cropped her foot off. Dang it. I didn't want to do that. Just come down a little bit. Hold on. All right, so let that render. It's taking a lot of the noise out. But I think, yeah, just a simple edit, right? Bring the shadows in a little bit and the colors of the flowers. Warm it up to make it more tungsten-y, because like I said, street shots usually have a lot of tungsten. Even though there's a ton of fluorescent lighting up here, that's probably what's messing with the white balance. I need to pull the greens back a little bit, because it just has a tint of green that probably shouldn't be there, is my guess. But okay, I think that's about 99% there of what I would do. All right, let's see. We have a road shot here. E510, 40 to 150, 79, F1. Yep, all looks good. That's an old camera. I think that's the same camera I have. What do I have? I have an E. Where's my E camera? It used to be right here. Dang it. I wanted to take that out. I was just thinking about taking it out. All right, so we have, yeah, E510. All right, so let's crop out this bumper and light. I don't know what that says, coastal something. So this leads to maybe a beach or something, right? So let's do a vertical crop like this. And let's tilt it so that at least something is level. And we'll center the road. Take a little bit off the top. A little more off the top. All right. And oh, the E510 has no art filters, so I'm gonna have to, I'm on my own here, so uh-oh, don't do it. Don't crash. I think it's gonna crash. Crap. All right. Let me kill workspace. I'll reopen it. Oh. Dang it, you're gonna make me go all the way dig down to the frickin' file. Let's see, it's in here. Under pictures and here. And here. All right. Okay. So we were doing a vertical crop like this, and I came in about this far. Maybe not that much, about there. And then we did a tilt, or was it this way? It was this way. There, that feels about right. 1 degree. Okay. All right. And let's see. Let's turn this filter off. Bring the sharpness back in. Some vignette while I'm in here. And white balance. Maybe we'll go a little warmer. Oh, that's weird. Nah. Yeah, 6,000 is not bad. That's about right. A little bit of dehaze, a little bit of clarity. Pull in the shadows pretty hard. Right there. And I think that's all that can be done here, Scott. Okay, so let's do before and after. And yeah, essentially just crop out this stuff on the left side, right? And then front and center on the road going into the woods. But what would make this picture pop is really some kind of accent, right? Like a little rabbit running across, or a dog, something, some kind of wildlife. Doesn't have to be a big part of the frame. It can just be a little part here or over here. Because otherwise this is just a dirt road to nowhere, right? So I think it needs an accent in the picture. It doesn't need a full-on subject because the subject is the road going into the woods. But it needs an accent to really make this picture pop, and then it would be done. Oh, girl in a bikini? Sure. Then that would be the subject, right? Not the road. So I don't want to take away from the subject here or the intent of the photographer. I want it to be, I want the road to be still the subject, but it just needs some more accent. Okay. Need some flames again, Dave? Wow, look at this. This is a cool shot from Massage. I know Matt. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the name the way it's supposed to be, but I'll go with Matt, like you put in the file name. This is cool. Okay. Just real quick, this is the EM10 Mark II, 25mm f5. Yep, all looks good. Negative 130 V. Good choice there. All right, yep. Excellent job on the settings, especially pulling the negative 1/3 comp. So I think we just need this to be warmer, like 7,000 or more, maybe 7,500. Yeah, that gives it a nice golden hour kind of look. And we need to crop and tilt. So I'm going to tilt. I'm going to crop right there. A little bit of keystoning. Let's turn off this filter. Oh. Turn off this filter. And then do the keystoning. I need it to be I think this way. Let me just see. No, this way. Okay. And let me come up. I'm debating if I really need to see everything at the bottom. Yeah, I like a wide crop a little better. All right, let's dehaze a little bit and or maybe just clarity. Let me see what that does. Lauren doesn't like my crop, I think. Maybe I need to go back. I'll explore that. Let me do a little bit of editing and then I'll go back. I don't want to silhouette the people if I can help it. Maybe let me try some gradation and see what happens. That didn't help much, but a little bit. I feel like this might be more interesting as a black and white. Yeah, I like that. All right, I have to end it there. It needs a little vignette, and then let's compare. So let that render a little bit. All right, there we go. I thought it was more interesting as a black and white. I tried to go for a golden hour kind of look, but the black and white just feels more dramatic for such a dramatic tunnel. Let me get my mouth. Yeah, I think that looks good. I think the vertical crop almost worked for me. I like the way the water was leading into the frame, but it's just too dark. It's too dark and cold. So, and I like the way the shadows are coming off the people walking and stuff. But I didn't want to lose the, you know, sort of the vastness or size of this tunnel relative to the people. Otherwise, it would have been interesting to just crop in right here. You know, maybe a vertical right on those people. I feel like if I went in really tight, whoops, like this, nah, that doesn't work. All right, let's go to the next one. I think my original crop was best. I was hoping that this would work, just with the shadows of the people, but then, I don't know. All right, but yeah, it's a good shot, Matt. Let's see what we have here. This is from Phil. We use the M10 Mark II with a kit lens, 14 to 42 f3.5, 1.250. Yep, all good settings. And man, this needs some straightening. I know that. So let's straighten this out. All right, let's pick a composition. I'm gonna go square. can't get in any tighter. I might have to go horizontal. If I do this, that's a little bit too tight. Maybe this. Okay. We'll do that. And I wonder, again, there's not much color in this scene. Just look at this. Okay. Ah, I just don't have enough color here. So if I do monotone again, pull in a red, I don't know, red might be a mistake. I don't want to lose the reds too much. Okay, that's fine. And let's do that. Just make it very punchy. I need to see the colors again. This is... I'm not sure. I'd like a little more even space here and here. Maybe that. Yeah, I think this is all right. So let's add a vignette and call it right there. All right. So again, you know, the colors are just not that interesting. So I went black and white, tried to work with the tones. And I tried to balance the two flags with the Canon in terms of balancing the image. I didn't do a great job with the sky. If I had a little more dramatic sky, it would have been a little more interesting. And I think it looks better just by itself, so you can see the whole thing. Because now you can see, you can read everything on here, you can read this. I just wish I could have done a better job on the sky. Lightroom would have done a fine job with the sky, but it's a little harder to do in Workspace. But okay, no more excuses. Let's move on. This must be, wow, this is from Jose. I wonder what you used here. A 50 to 200 on EM1. Interesting. 1/400th ISO 200. All good settings. Wow, really amazing, this lens and this combo. This is This is pretty solid image. Let me do pop. That might be too strong, but maybe not. That's looking all right. And just pull the saturation back a little bit. Right about there. Let's do a square crop and come in and have the duck swimming out of the frame. Get rid of that. All right, good. Needs a little more space on the bottom. Okay. Some vignetting. Tack in some sharpness, turn off the noise filter. Just a little bit of a tilt. Maybe right there. And I think, I don't know if I really need to try to squeeze a little more sharpness in, but I'm going to try. We'll just do a 1 and a 5 here. Maybe back that off a little. Yeah. All right. Simple edit because it's a really good shot. Let's do a before and after. I always see something right when I do the comparison. Let me just give it a little more warmth. About a 50, let's go 5600K. All right, now I'm done. Let's do a comparison now. There. Needs to render, but I think I was able to squeeze a little more detail out from a screen perspective, like if you're looking at it on a computer screen. And I think it would help also if we were printing. But okay, I think that looks good right there. All right. Let's see. Good job, Jose. Very good. All right, that's the end of the Olympus cameras. Let's go into Lightroom. See if there's any more hiding. Oh. Lightroom's loading up. It looks like you're caught in a paint throwing contest. That's funny. This was my edit, kind of. I didn't finish it. Of the guy, the images I gave you guys to edit. I was kind of all over the place with this one myself, but let's go to, let's synchronize this folder. Okay, that's done. And all right, let's see if I missed any. I did those. I've done all of those. Those are viewer edits. Oh, I was going to talk about this one and this one, right? There's an astro shot. I've done those. Those are viewer edits. So only one more really to edit, looks like. Oh, hey, Randy, how are you? Oops, not this one. All right, so Gilbert wanted some feedback, I guess, on how to deal with sliders and stuff with night photography. And this one's already a processed image, so it's hard for me to kind of give any suggestions, but it's already really well done. And I think the white balance is almost perfect for this kind of scene because normally you have a lot of tungsten, right? Lighting. So I think it's perfectly fine to keep the white balance here. But usually with images like this, I like to crush blacks because a lot of times noise hides in the shadow areas. So by pulling the blacks down, you eliminate a lot of the noise in a dark image. And then setting wise, I usually dial in like a -1 or 2, usually 1 EV, negative exposure comp, when I'm doing street photography, just to crush the blacks a little bit more and to save some of the highlights in the lamps here. Like you did a good job saving the highlights here. So it looks like you may have already dialed in some exposure comp. I can't tell from the EXIF data here. But yeah, I don't have any recommendations beyond what you've already done here. It looks like you did a good job with the settings and everything. And then for the next image you gave me, same thing. When I punch in, lots of good detail here. And you didn't blow out the highlights. You can still see inside the windows for the most part. So for a scene like this is as good as you can get. And then I would, yeah, this is a JPEG. I'm trying to see if you're shooting in twilight hour, this might be blue, but it's not. So it looks like that's just light pollution. So definitely I would bring the blacks in more, bring the highlights down a little bit, then raise the exposure slightly. And that, now we can see a couple of stars in the background. But yeah, with JPEGs, I don't have a lot of wiggle room. But if you had sent me a raw image, I think I could have gave you a little better demonstration. Now the next image is going to be a astro shot, so that'll give us some idea. But okay, let's see here. Okay, same thing here. Yeah, I crush blacks a lot. You guys are giving me a hard time on that. But, you know, when I do street photography at night, there's nothing but noise in the shadows. So crushing the blacks, you know, hides all of that. And then you can just focus on what's on the right side of the histogram, right? Because everything on the left side is going to be just pure noise. All right, so we have here, let's look at this, 400 ISO 410 millimeter f1.7 with the LX100. Wow, I've never heard of anybody using an LX100 for astrophotography, but that's pretty awesome. 37 seconds. Oh, hey, Scott. I'm sorry the hours are not quite right for you there. I know. I can't save everyone. Let me punch in the resolve a little bit. So let's develop this. And first thing I'm going to do is these speckles here, this is color noise. So I'm going to get rid of that first. So that's, I hate to go that high. Maybe, yeah, we'll just go with the default setting there. And then I'm going to add some sharpening, but then I'm going to mask it. Because I don't want to sharpen the noise, I just want to sharpen the stars. And then I can pull this detail back. All right, now, definitely want to pull the blacks in and push the highlights. And then the shadow area is good for the Milky Way part. But it's not doing enough today. Let me try the whites. The whites and the shadows. Oh, is that the, oh no, that's a cloud. I thought that might have been one of the constellations. Let's go there. It might be a constellation. What focal length are we at? 10 millimeter, it can't be. You're too far away. All right, now where's the clarity? The clarity might, or dehaze, might separate this Milky Way a little bit better for us. Yeah. Okay, let me punch in. And I'm going to use vibrance this time because the colors in stars are very, very weak. And we'll add some saturation. And my sharpening might have been, I might have overdone it here. Throw in. Honestly, I think that's it. Because the stars have a little bit of an eggshell. So there's no point in trying to really go too crazy with sharpening. Let me pull the exposure back. Right about there. All right, I think that's the best. Yeah, it's too late to save the highlights. Messing with the highlights now when I push the whites will mess up the tone curve. So I can't do much here. All right, I think that's it. Let me pull the whites back. I can't. I got to keep these right where they were. I guess I can even out these two things. It's very sensitive. Oh, I'm out of time. All right, so we'll call it right there. Create a virtual copy. And reset it. And then we can compare. All right, so, man, it's hard to tell with these small images, but I tried to think out loud what I was doing while I was doing it, right, obviously. But this needs to render. Let me sync these two things. Maybe a vertical crop would help, but let's look at this full screen. It's okay. You know, you could spend a little more time on it, but this is not an ideal camera for this kind of photography, obviously. And the exposure is just a hair too long, so you're getting a little bit of eggshell action in the stars. But I think you did a really good job here otherwise on the settings. About as good as could be expected with a camera like this. Because this is a little pocket camera, right? But okay. Let's go to the viewer edits. Oh, thanks everyone. I tried. Yeah, there's a lot of ambient light from the city where I live too. I got the same issue. All right, so the original image, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Here's the original image, right? So really dark shadows. I'm almost silhouetted here because it looks like the camera exposed for the back. I just put the camera up on a tripod and just wanted to get a picture of me. This is me in the shot. taking a picture of the door. I don't know, because I didn't have anybody there, so I just decided to, you know, do a self-portrait kind of. So let's see what you guys did here. This is from Dragos. Okay, Dragos, good job recovering the shadows, and I like the colors here inside. Needs a little bit of straightening still, but this is really a very representative of what the scene looked like, right? To the naked eye versus what the camera sees. So I think this is, I think this looks good. Make sure you sync Google Drive for viewer edits. Oh yeah, I download everything when I start. I don't have a sync folder directly, honestly. But that's not a bad idea. Sync it directly. But I don't want edits coming in right in the middle of. I like to download everything before I start. That way it doesn't mess up. But if there's a couple extras, let me look. Let me see if there's any extras in here. Yeah, there's a couple here. Wow, people have sent in a bunch of stuff since I started. Let me just download the viewer edits. But Peter, I have to do yours next time on Thursday. So let me download the viewer edits though. There's one from Ed Krasinski. Panomom. Oh, that's Walter. Walter's got a couple. All right, so let me resync this. All right, I'll resync this. So it's not what I wanted. Synchronize folder. All right. Wow, there's more viewer edits than there are photos I edited, I think. Okay, so let's try again. This is from John Follows. Okay, John. This is a little bit softer. Let me get rid of this sidebar here. Sometimes I have to punch in to get it to render. So the walls look almost like they're made of gold, right? Gold bricks. And the grass is a little bit, the moss and the grass is crazy too. This is interesting. I like the gold bricks the most. And this one I think we just looked at, right? This was, yeah, Dragos. This is a great edit here. And yeah, it was a nice painting look. And this is, wow, this is interesting. This looks like a movie poster, right? Like you could put a title up here for the movie, some text. This is pretty cool. I like this look too. This was from who? John Follows. Okay, John, good job. And let's see. I got yours now though, Walter. I don't know why they didn't download the first time, but they're there now. It must have took a while to sync the drive or something. I'm not sure because I download directly from Google, the browser. I don't sync my drive on my computer. All right, so this is cool. Nice, clean, square edit with a shovel and a door and the grass. Yeah, this is nice. I like this. This is from Matt. Okay, Matt, good job. So, yeah. Yeah, I'll mention that next time, Walter, when I start to stream that, you know, everything's been edited. Anyway, yeah, good job, Matt. I like this edit. Nice, soft focus, too. And then this one, they cut out everything but the door. I like this crop, except the door is facing away from the frame, kind of, so that kind of throws the balance off to the eye, I think. But you did crop in the corners really well. I like this corner here. And then the processing is excellent in terms of bringing out the details and the shadows. So this is pretty awesome overall. I'm not crazy about the crop, but I really like the processing a lot. And this is, oh, okay, Walter. Good job, Walter. Really good job processing. And this one is it's a very thin TARDIS. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's too funny. I guess theoretically, right, the TARDIS could be that thin because once you go inside, it doesn't matter, right? Because it's all relative to dimensions. So that would have been a better move for the Doctor. Of course, then people would be stealing his TARDIS all the time because they pick it up and take it somewhere. All right. Let's see. This is from Walter again. Luma curves, invert RGB. Oh, excuse me. When that coffee wears off, man, you get that crash. Okay, interesting. So you inverted the greens to their opposite, like this kind of, I don't know, lavender. That's weird. That's not quite opposite green. And the blues, it is, everything is kind of opposite almost. Without messing with the actual luminance, right? This is just messing with the chroma, inverting the chroma kind of. All right, let's go to the next one. Yep, nice. I like this edit better. Nice and clean. A little bit more clarity would have been good here. It's kind of soft. I mean, I know it was a high ISO image. I forget what it was. ISO 3200. So that's, you know, that's like ISO 1,000,000 on a full frame, right? But let's see. This is another one from Walter. So just a nice wide crop. Good crop of the corner. This works really well, actually, this crop. I think this is my favorite edit so far. And then this has got to be a Walter black and white. Looks like, I don't know if you added grain. Let me see. Yeah, so it looks like you added a little grain here. And then did this sort of a similar chroma luminance type editing. Nice and soft. I like the color version much better though. This one is a great black and white, but the color seems to, I don't know, I like what you did with the color better. And then this one, let's see, this is, I think this is Walter again, but just more of a sepia tone, right? Yeah, this is the same exact crop. Yeah, this crop I'm not crazy about. This is kind of a little bit too simple. It's just a door leaning on a wall. There's no accent. I think the shovel was a nice little accent to the picture if you're going to do this kind of crop. But again, the processing is spot on. Definitely great sepia processing there. And this one, this is an awesome split tone. All the shadows are in a blue and the highlights are in this like yellow orange. This is pretty awesome. I really like the split toning here. Who did this one? Image Writer. Good job, man. This is pretty awesome. Yeah, this split tone is really good, right? It really did a good job on that. And then this one, yeah, this is closer to what I did with my own editing. I was kind of going in this direction and another direction with black and white. The challenge with this picture is it's so bright in the background where the light's coming in through the door that you can see all these other buildings. And I don't know. That's the problem with this image. It's very challenging in that respect, but the processing everywhere else is excellent. It's just that background, you know, what are you going to do, right? That's where I was struggling with this image myself, was what do you do with this window opening here? Image writer gets Randy's Hang on the Wall award. That's a great award. I wish I thought of that. All right, yeah, see, now this is, I'm sorry, who was this? This was Kiloin. Yeah, this is a good job, Kiloin. I like the very dark Kiloin. Oh, you blurred it a little too? Let me punch in. I don't know, it looks good. It looks nice and sharp. I got to remember to punch in on these to resolve them. All right, this one is very, very contrasty. Yeah, SPF 1 million on this, right? The outside being totally blown out, I'm totally fine with. I think that works. I think something else needs to happen here. The processing is really excellent here on the right side with the door and the wall. But this side, I like it being blown out in silhouette, but it doesn't go with this side so well. So this transition from here to here, somebody's going to nail it. You know, I'm just not happy with this transition here. I like the processing individually, the left side, the right side, but that transition, something needs to happen. I'm not sure what it is, if at all, if it's possible at all. Who is this, Ed? Awesome job, Ed. Like I said, the left and the right I like separately, but the transition between the two is what needs work, and I don't know how to do it myself. But yeah, that's pretty awesome, Ed. Good job. I really like the right side a lot. All right. Oh, wow. This is good. Really good work with the shadows here. Jerry, right? Jerry Kenta. Awesome. Awesome work. Let me punch in to make sure it's resolved. Yeah, it looks really good. See, this crop works for me because of the shovel. The shovel makes a nice little accent to the overall image, because the door is still the main subject, but by itself it was just not enough, and that little shovel makes a nice accent, I think. So good job, good job. I would add a little vignette to this if it were mine, but yeah, this looks really good. Oh, thank you, Ed. Yeah, we're gonna bury the door, right, Dave? And this is good processing. This is a lot like Walter's. Really good job with the colors and balancing the white balance between outside and inside. And excellent work with the shadows. You can see the door, all the shadows and details on the door. Let me punch in again. Yeah, everything looks, yeah, this is really good too. This from Alberto. Okay, Alberto, you and Walter are like on the same page with this, but Walter cropped a much wider, right? He came in a lot tighter. He came up to this line here, and then he cut off this line here. But processing-wise, you guys are pretty close. Yeah, good color balance, right? I agree. Yeah, this is very much like what you would see with the naked eye. Almost. Almost. Even to the naked eye, the inside was very, very dark compared to the outside. But I like the processing, how all the stones and everything. Yeah, everywhere looks really good. The brick, I mean. Yeah, this is a good crop. A little tight on the top right. But this is the crop. If you're going to crop on the right side, this is really close to what I think would work best. Get the door and the shovel together. Getting the outside door in is kind of interesting though, because it looks like you cropped right on the edge of this door before it goes to the outside where it's super bright. So if you add a little bit more room on the right, I think this would be just about right. And good processing overall. Oh, this is Alberto again. Okay, so it's the same processing, it looks like. No, it's different. This is a little bit different. Yeah, mild color toning. So it's a little bit, you added a little bit of magenta, it looks like, to this. But yeah, this is good. Um, wow, this looks like something Elaine would do, right? So you use Capture One. Okay, so you and Walter, that's why the processing looks similar between you and Walter. You both use Capture One. Now I see it. That makes sense. I mean, although you can do completely different edits with Capture One, somehow when you're working with any tool, you know, your editing kind of is skewed towards the controls that the editor has available to and how they're set up. Just my opinion, you know. Of course, editors can do anything, but maybe that's why your two edits are very similar, you and Walter. But this is cool. Good job painting the reds in the background and adding some light here. Like this looks like an artificial light up here coming onto the door. It's a little bit contradicting the shadow coming in from the outside, but good job recovering everything. And I think you focused in the way you cropped it on all the elements that make this picture work. But let's see. This is from Marcel. Okay, Marcel, good job. Good job, Marcel. I like it. It's a little bit warped here. So it looks like you did some bending too. This is an interesting edit. It does, this image here, this edit here does balance the outside to the inside really well, which was kind of missing on the other one that Ed Krisiak did. This is a little better transition. A little bit softer on the reds, and it would have been perfect transition, I think, from outside to inside. Like make these reds look a little bit more like the brick here, and it would have been a perfect transition, I think. But yeah, Marcel always does a great job. I agree, Dave. No question. And this one here, wow, this is a partial color, but just on the door, right? So you made the door in color and everything else black and white. This is cool. I can see where Marcel was going for the artificial light because some of it's reflecting off back up here, or maybe that's some calcium deposits that are kind of causing that, but that's interesting. That's an interesting look. It really draws your eye right here to the door. Even though this is the brightest part of the frame, you immediately go to where the color is, I think. Oh, okay. I'll pull yours in, Jack Knack. Since you're new, I've never seen you before, so since you're new, I'm gonna pull yours in. Let me just download it real quick. Download. All right, I got it. Okay. All right, let me go back to this. Oh, who did this? This is Marcel again. Okay, Marcel, good job. It's interesting how my eye is drawn to the color door, not to the brightest area. The brightest area is kind of the second place in this image. But even if your eye goes to the brightest part, you know, you get to the door and you're like, wow, look at that door, right? So this is really, I think processing wise, this is my favorite so far. I don't know if this would be my final edit. I don't think I would go for this as a final edit, but it's really interesting to see this edit. It's the most interesting edit, I think. Yeah, this I would say is my favorite. I was trying to go for this in my own editing, and I was really struggling with this, me personally. And this crop, this is a really good crop too. So instead of cutting off the door, like one of the edits that, I forget who it was, you kept some of the outside. Yeah, I like this one. Very, very gritty. Very gritty, and it hides all of the noise, right? Let me punch in. You know, it hides a lot of the noise that's in the image already from being a high ISO. And then look at the behind the door. They left this blurry over here. That's interesting. That's a weird touch right here. But yeah, yeah, I agree, Ed. This is the best crop so far, and the editing is really good. I'm gonna guess Surge. I don't know. I've never seen Surge do one like this. Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. Stephen Page. Wow. Okay, Stephen. Awesome job. That is pretty awesome. And then this one, oh, I like this too. But this has the same problem that I saw with Ed Krisiak's edit, right? The transition from bright to dark is a little bit too stark. So separately, left and right are fine, but this, when you put them together, it doesn't work. But good processing overall. It's very similar to what Ed did, but this is a complete silhouette versus I don't think Ed did a complete silhouette. Okay, Surge, okay. This is from Surge. So, like I said, I like the silhouette and I like the processing on the right, but when they put them together, this image doesn't work for me. Yeah, the silhouette, the lines and the shadows, right, Surge? I see that. I like the silhouette. But I think most of you would agree with that, right? The left side and the right side just don't match in the same image. Not like this, anyway. And it's hard to do. Wow, this is awesome. See, this is where the left and right kind of go together, right? The colors are very similar from left to right. And then adding this kind of mosaic or whatever it is, overlay, paint, I don't know what kind of overlay that is, softens that overall effect from left to right too. Stephen Page gets Randy's Hang on the Wall award. Awesome. This is from DeMorkin. Wow, DeMorkin, I'm impressed. This is pretty, this is very different. I would have never seen this coming. But this is another person did a good job, you know, transitioning left to right, I think. And the crop is it's a little tight. I like the wide crop Walter did. It gave it more room, even though not really. If you're going to keep me in the picture or the left side of the picture in, I think a little bit wider crop would work best. But this is probably a 4x5 crop, right, for printing. So this makes more sense if you crop it this way. Chalk painting, okay, maybe. And this has been squashed. This doesn't look right. You squashed it. I look like a midget. I like the processing. This looks a lot like, again, maybe Capture One again, but regardless, the processing is really good. I would have crushed the blacks over here a little bit for the noise, because you can see how the noise is all over the place here. Stephen Page gets my Hang on the Wall award. No money, but a huge award. Rob gains a couple of pounds in this one. Yeah, just a couple. What is this, DeMorkin? Okay, this is another DeMorkin print or edit. Yeah, look at my shoulders in that, man. I look huge. Short but stocky, right? I like the size, the aspect ratio. I just don't like it being all squashed. But I guess if I didn't know this was a taller image, it might be okay. All right, and this one, oh, this is another kind of partial color mix. Interesting. I think the one, I forget who did it earlier, was where it was just the door I liked better, but this, making everything gray except the, oops. Yeah, this is good. I'm just very confused. It's very, I think this is kind of one of those, what do you call it? It's very artsy, right? Like You're very specific about what you chose to color and what not to color. Kind of some light painting, color painting a little bit. It's almost like a watercolor, but you haven't finished coloring it yet. One of those, you know, where you color by numbers, watercolor by numbers. That's the feeling I get from it. Let's see what we got here. This is from Scott Mumford. Okay, Scott. That's very interesting edit. I like it. I like it to a point, but it looks like you need to finish coloring it a little bit. That's all. But it's very interesting otherwise. And this one, this is just a tight crop. And a terrible portrait of me. Who's this? Dawood? Okay, Dawood. Yeah. Not a fan of this crop at all. Because I look terrible. But look at my fingers. They're really... Those are my fingers, though. Oh, wow. This looks like something Elaine would do. Just kind of make everything blurry, then throw some paint on it. This is crazy, though. This is a crazy edit. Who did this one? DeMorgan. Gosh, DeMorgan, you really got a variety today. I like the very first one you submitted of all the edits. The first one I looked at of yours. But this is another way to go, right? Another 4x5 crop. Yeah, this is exactly what my 12 to 40 looks like inside. Exactly. Oh. That's really close. All right, here we got this. This is like what Deb used to do, right? I haven't seen any edits from Deb O'Connor in a long time, or any submits from her. Hope everything's going well for you, though, Deb. We miss you here. But unless this is you, I don't think it is, because I don't remember seeing your name in any of the file names. But this is cool. I like this. This gets rid of the whole left-right problem, right? It just takes the left side, but then doubles it. This is awesome. Good thinking out of the box here, right? Yeah, good job, Serge. This is definitely thinking out of the box. I would have never thought to split it here and fix that other problem. All right. And what did your door say to the shovel? So don't knock until you try. Okay. God, that was bad. That joke sucked. Don't knock until you try. Oh my God. All right, Phil. Good processing though. I really like the colors on this door and the walls. This kind of brown, muddy look. And then right into the greens. This whole color palette is pretty awesome. It's a very limited color palette to just kind of this brownish and green. And then the reds in the background are all blown out, so they're almost non-existent. I think a little tighter crop to get rid of that blown out highlight, and this would have been an awesome, awesome edit. But I see why you kept the white vignette is because of the blown highlights. Is there a 666 on the door? I don't see anything, but okay. And wow, another crazy edit. Totally got rid of the right side, right? So a lot of people are seeing the same problem I did, where the left and right don't balance too well. So you're either cropping one side or the other, right? In this case, you just blacked it out. So this is interesting, though. This is an interesting edit. This is from Ian. Okay, Ian. I like the strong color in the background. And then just this blackness on the right. A little bit more fading here. So it doesn't look like it's totally black. Just fade off to black here would have been, like the floor here is perfect. A little bit of fade into black on the right side, I think would have been just enough to let the viewer know that it's actually you're shooting into a room and not, you know, it just gives you a little more perspective. But yeah, this is cool. And hold on, is that the last one without? Yeah, okay, so we got one more by Jack. Let's see, let me synchronize this one more time. Like I said, I see one from Peter and Jacob. So there's two more images. I'll have to edit them on Thursday about this time. Hold on. So this is from Jack. This was the last minute edit. This is pretty cool. This is like a little bit like somebody was saying earlier, this is a Doctor Who TARDIS, but it's very thin, right? That's cool. This is pretty awesome. I like the thinking here. That was definitely worth the download. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna say this is my favorite edit. The processing overall is okay, but the creativity here is awesome. I think this is definitely, oops. Yeah, definitely my favorite edit here. So let's see. Wow, so many edits. If I zoom in a little bit so you guys can see them a little better. But yeah, the golden walls. I like this. This looks like a Quentin Tarantino, or however you say his name, kind of movie poster, like Kill Bill, right? And then, yeah, this is cool. These are nice, clean edits. I'm not a fan of this one here, Walter. Sorry. I don't like the reverse Luma thing, chroma. And then, yeah, this is a clean edit, very good. This one here, though, man, that's a killer edit with the, yeah, I really liked it, Jack. That is pretty cool. This is very similar to what I was going for. I like this one. I mean, these are all really amazing edits. So as usual, I'll try and put these up on my forum tonight or tomorrow so you guys can look at them all, you know, take your time and see them full screen rather than looking at them through a live stream. As I do with all the edits that you guys do, I put them in my forum on robtrek.com. So definitely check those out, you know, over there just for fun, and leave a comment to the person that did the edit if you really liked it and what you liked about it. Because I'm not getting a lot of activity on that part of the forum, but I think it's one of the best places to kind of learn photography and editing, is looking at how people see the same scene very differently, right? Not only how they edit it, but how they see it. And as you can see, people are seeing the same scene very differently, you know, from edit to edit. So Dave's Wall Award goes to Steven. Which one was his? Stephen Page. Forget. I know those were Dawood's. I think it was this one. No, that's Scott. That was DeMorkin. Oh, this one, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I think without this would be number 2 for me. I think number 1 in terms of editing. Oops, you guys can't see that. It was this one. This one was Stevens. This one. Definitely this one. So for me, number 2, because I like the composite of me coming out of the door. But as far as just straight up editing, this is probably my favorite. So, okay, I'm going to call it here. So you guys have a great Happy New Year if I don't see you again. But I will be back on New Year's Eve on Thursday doing another, you know, photo chat and live stream. And you know, for those of you still here, just make sure you try to submit your images before I start the stream, so that I make sure I get them downloaded and edited for you. And again, thanks for sending your images in, and also for editing my picture. Like I said, it's a great learning experience, and it's always a lot of fun to see what you guys do. So you guys have a good one. Thanks again. We'll see you again soon.